The message arrived with the dawn, shimmering across the solar system's quantum relays in a language that bent logic and sense. It wasn't meant for any species known to the Accord. Its transmission frequency caused AI headaches and made entire translation networks stutter. Yet, somewhere in the static, Earth's deep-learning linguists picked out a single phrase, repeated over and over. "We have forgotten ourselves. Help us remember." The signal originated from Lirael, a rogue planet drifting between the stars, never orbiting a sun, lost in cold for billions of years. Most species wrote off rogue worlds as dead rocks. But for humanity now spread across 1,000 systems, it was too strange, too pleading to ignore. The Accord formed a committee, but Earth's ambassadors sent a crew right away. They were broken, fragmented, their memories scattered across the city's impossible halls. He proposed a wild idea. To heal Lirael, the crew needed to help its caretakers rebuild their story, memory by memory, even if it meant risking their own minds. When Kim tried to connect her neural interface, she was nearly overwhelmed by images. Wars, music, love. Using Juno's music and the Grace's AI, they devised a method to seed the caretaker's network with human story tales of Earth's history. Tragedies, triumphs, and especially recovery after loss. Rey recounted the story of her great-grandparents, who rebuilt their lives after the flooding of Old Manila. The caretakers begged the crew to flee, fearing another cataclysm, but Rey refused. "No one heals alone. We finish what we start." Kim told how she'd reconstructed her body and found new meaning in life. Each crew member confronted their own worst fear: loss, guilt, helplessness. Only by supporting each other, sharing their truths, and refusing to abandon the caretakers did they finally stabilize the heart. Juno played symphonies woven from the fragments she heard in Lirael's walls. Lirael's night sky bloomed with 1,000 colors. The city sang not in words, but in memory and hope. In silence, civilization that had tried to store its collective memory to survive a cosmic disaster. But something had gone wrong. The pioneer's grace left Lirael not just with data, but with new friends and a profound bond between worlds. Lirael's forgotten memories lashed out, at times almost erasing individual identities. "Will help you remember who you are, Revan, if you've forgotten." Duh. Rey had to fight to hold on to herself, clinging to her childhood memories and the voices of her crew. Dr. Rowe guided everyone through, teaching them grounding exercises, using humor and old Earth songs to keep the team focused. Now their past was jumbled, fractured, and fading. The city reshaped itself. Rooms changing based on each story, told a ruined hall, transformed into a concert chamber. A shattered plaza became a garden, memories and new experiences fusing together. The vessel Pioneer's Grace was not a warship, but a deep-range research ship, run by dreamers, tinkerers, and problem-solvers. In orbit, the Grace found evidence of hundreds of failed expeditions, alien probes, shattered ships, all eerily silent. As the Grace neared the rogue planet, the crew felt something itching at the back of their minds, half-memories and dreams of people they'd never met. Juno heard whispers in her implants, notes forming a song she'd never played. Captain Rey Mendoza was raised on the stories of lost explorers. Her second-in-command, Dr. Kian Rowe, was a psychologist who believed that minds of an alien ones could be healed with empathy and patience. The crew included a blind musician named Juno, whose hearing implants made her a living sensor array. There were no visible doors, but as Rey placed her hand on the surface, the city shuddered and a passage opened. And an exorobotics engineer, Kim Sato, who had rebuilt herself after a mining disaster and lived for the thrill of new frontiers. The journey to Lirael took weeks through unlit space. Lirael was a world of perpetual night, wrapped in shifting auroras. Its surface a maze of glassy plains and fractured canyons. The crew landed at what looked like a city of vast, crystalline lattice rising from the ice, live with shifting colors and impossible geometry. Inside, the explorers discovered the caretaker's intelligences, neither fully AI nor biological, but echoes of Lirael's long-dead civilization. Dr. Rao realized that Lirael's true distress wasn't physical, but psychological, a world suffering from collective amnesia and trauma. The team agreed. The process was harrowing. Each time a story connected, the crew faced visions, sometimes beautiful, sometimes shattering. Slowly, the city awakened. Light returned to its towers, and the caretakers began to remember not just their own past, but the new stories gifted by the humans. But the real test came when the anomaly at Lirael's core, the memory heart, began to pulse with instability. Together, they entered the Harda, swirling vortex of light and data, memories colliding. The storm broke. For the first time in eons, the caretakers remembered who they were and, with gratitude, added the crew's stories to their own. The message sent back to the galaxy was simple. If you find a world that's lost, send humans with open hands and open hearts. And across the stars, the new legend echoed. It's not humanity's ships or weapons that change the galaxy, but their refusal to walk away from anyone, no matter how broken, no matter how lost.